Hi, it's the Great Vanzini once again. Not liking the sound I'm hearing here at all. It's set up to it's the Boss E-band once again. And it's set up to a Latin bossa nova it's actually got crunch. It'd be fine for rockabilly, it just doesn't seem like it's right for Latin bossa nova. So I hope I can get some little snippet of tone as an intro in there. I'm back to using a PRS Santana SE, and we saw one yesterday, and again, man, this has been in the case and it's dusty. Excuse me while I clean my guitar. You can see that this also has yet another different set of humbuckers on it. The ones were metal covered, the other ones were two-tone on the orange custom one, and now we have one that's all black ones. This is a pretty old one. This was one that I bought new. It was new, and they were selling it oh gosh, probably 7 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. They were selling it as a blim, so instead of the normal, back then I think they were like 600. So instead of 600, I paid like 425, 450, something like that. And I couldn't really find the blim. There was one little crease in the back here, like somebody in the store had demoed it, and now I see that crease is getting worse. It's like some of the lacquer is just coming off, and it's just a little indentation, but they sold it as a blim. These are the older ones. I know I think they're no longer made in Korea. They're made in Indonesia. So all these that I have, as far as I can recall, are all made in Korea. And so the interesting thing about this is everything's the same, 25-inch scale. The difference between this and the Santana I showed yesterday, or the other, at this point it'll be the other day, but this is a hardtail. There's no trim on it. And the other big difference is I don't have the data on this guitar. I couldn't find it anywhere. Looks like I got another little chip there, so I beat it. I've abused it. I like this guitar. It's got a much different neck on it than any of the other PRS guitars. It's thicker. It reminds me of some sort of a Gibson, like an SG. It's not quite that thick, but an SG from whenever they had thick necks on the SGs. So this is, I'm going to go to that one right there because it's a nice clean one. And we'll just hear. These pickups are really nice and clean. They clean up really nice. That's on the neck position. And if we go to the middle position, I did take the truss rod. I did take the truss rod cover off and adjust the neck at some point because it's loose. And the bridge position. Now it's clean. It's a clean amp tone, warm and clean. It's trying to break up. It's trying to make a breaking up kind of quality. I have to get some small little tube amp that sounds really good, but I haven't run into any yet. I have a Marshall Class 5 going through 412s. It sounds pretty good, but it doesn't say it's. I'm not going to lug the Marshall upstairs, that's for sure, the 412. And then I have a little Vox. I do have a Vox 5-watt amp, tube amp somewhere, and a nitrane. So maybe some of those would. This doesn't sound too bad. It's got a thicker neck though. That's 22 frets. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yep, 22. Anyway, that's just a quick show and tell of a really dirty old dusty. I gotta get the rag out, make sure I wipe everything down before I show it on video. I like this guitar. This is a fun guitar. I like to have them around that don't. I generally almost always play something with some sort of trim on it, because I just love using the trim, and in fact sometimes I overuse the trim. So if I'm recording and I don't want trim, it's nice to have a hardtail of some sort that's where I'm not going to use. I'm not going to hit the tremolo and get carried away. So I do not have the stats on this though, but I know I can feel that radius is far different than the PRS custom I played yesterday. It's thicker from the front to the back, primarily. This again is like the other one that I have, a couple of them that I have. It's as if somebody's done some fret work to it. I think it's just coming from the factory this way. These are just nicely, what's the word? Where they beveled frets. There's no rough edges there at all. So that's really nice. I don't know what type of humbuckers these are. They sound good. I like the you could get some good tone out of that, I think. So well, I'm back with yet another one with really old strings. Man, I have not changed these strings out. I have not dusted it. Even though it's been in a case, it's like the dust is seeping into the case. I don't know. This is set up really nice. Also, this is just like so many of the other ones where the fretwork's just great. I hate, you hear me harping on that. Gee, many Christmas. You hear me harping on that. And I just hate rough fretwork as you go up and down the fretboard. I had one guitar, I don't remember what it was, but I mean it had one fret, and I actually cut myself, just a nick, you know, but I cut myself scooting up the neck. This is different. This is an interesting, this is a PRS SE custom, and it's not, it's a semi-hollow. And I can kind of see where this block goes right about back here and stops, and I can see back behind it. So let's turn it off and let's do some bongo playing. Doesn't sound very hollow down at the bottom. Starts to sound hollow back here, away from that wood block we know goes right to about here. And of course there we got full bongo there. So, you know, I'm not sure what's going on. When they call these semi-hollow, they're not like the old days that were really pretty much hollow, but semi. This is a great player, and again, it's a hardtail. So both of these guitars I'm showing today are hardtails, and I just have to have at least one hardtail in there of whatever guitar I like. Otherwise, I will get carried away. It's like having 24 frets. If I have 24 frets, I'll end up using them, so I prefer 22. So, and this is a 22, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, yes. I don't like it. Sounds sharper with the pick. Go down to the bridge. Interesting, on some of these PRS guitars, the tone control actually works. We talked about that before. So many of them are either an on or off proposition. You have it in the full treble position and you back it off, nothing happens, then bang, it goes to all muddy mid-tone kind of things. On this one, it actually, that's at the halfway mark, backs it off a little bit, all the way off, halfway on, all the way on. So it's at least 3 positions in there you can use with a little give in between, so that's kind of neat. Again, 25-inch scale, same as always. Hardtail, semi-hollow, at least on the top. And down here. Down, it sounds down here. This may be chambered here. I mean, it's obviously chambered where the controls are. I don't know what's going on here. I should take that off and look in there and see what this body has to offer. It's a custom. It does have a different sort of top on it than, you know, the other one was just, I should have shown the other one, but it was just very much just a red wood grain. This is kind of a flame, very mild flame, cherry flame. How did I get into PRS? I'm a huge, still am. He passed away a few years back, but Bugs Henderson was one of the early Paul Reed Smith adopters, and I just loved his playing and loved his music. I still miss him. But he played American version, the core model, Paul Reed Smith's. But it got me into him, and I started messing around with him and collecting them, and he always, not always, but up towards the end he actually changed flavors, but almost always used some sort of a red guitar. In fact, that's one of the names of his albums, Daredevils of the Red Guitar. Something like that. And if you don't know who Bugs is, let me know. I can, there's, look him up here on YouTube. There's all sorts of stuff on him here. So this is interesting. I just showed the other one. I have my guitars mixed up. I said I bought this other one that I showed earlier, new, and I'm just looking at the jack plug-in, and this is the used one I bought. I don't know what I did with that new one, because I can see somebody's replaced this jack or put different. It's got big, huge screws in it. I doubt that came from the factory. Those are. Maybe they are. I don't know. I mean, they're gigantic. They're way oversized for the... yeah, you're not going to be able to see it. They're way oversized compared to these that actually fit. That actually fits in there. I can't tell you the difference on these humbuckers. They all sound about the same to me, except for the one I showed on the previous video was metal covered ones. They're really dark. They're very, very dark. A little too dark for me. And on the custom orange one that I showed, it had the two-tone sort of humbuckers on there, and those are the best sounding of any of them, I think. And that's it for Paul Reed's. Oh no, I got one more I'll have to show. Rusty. I need to practice more, but I can't because I played enough here in the last few days. I've got hamburger for fingers, so got to give them some healing up time. And that's it for Paul Reed Smith. I got one more to go, I think. I got to look through and see what I got. So until I see you the next time around, have a good day, have a good week. If you have any questions at all, I will try to, you know, like I didn't look up the information on on this first one, on the Santana. The neck is clearly a different neck than I have on the custom, the orange custom, a little thicker from front to back. And I never knew that they had different specs on them like that, so that's news to me. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down, make a comment. If I said something wrong, let me know. Yesterday I said I like the 22 fret guitars because they have a longer fingerboard. That's what it sounded like I was saying. You have to listen to what I mean, not what I say, okay? And what I meant was, of course, the 24s have a longer fingerboard, but I prefer the 22s so I don't go up and mess around with those little bitty frets up there. In fact, I think I just might get some pliers and yank a few frets out of all of these. So, I don't know, but feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to send me free dust rags. We'll go from there. And I got to get down here in the camera, see if I can get in. We'll talk to you later, okay? Have a good week.